Thanks, Mark. Yeah, hi, I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net. As Mark Hamill just told you. I mean, you should know that. And that's
You
Rob,
should know that.
the Sketchcraft. Yeah, today we're going to be workshopping our new, younger, hip names. My new name is J Dubs. That's Trace. And if he was here, his name would be Doc because he works at the docks. Jesse was here. His name would be Doc. Those are our.
Mine is T-RAYCE though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know. We never call you Tracy behind your back. I swear.
Oh fuck!
Sorry. Meg did a good video
Star Wars.
today. Meg did a good video today on on reasons why the Bad Batch could be coming to the live action stuff.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, I liked it. It was pretty well thought out and stuff like that. But when I was watching it, I was thinking about their names, and I was like, "What's our Bad Batch names?" And at first,
Bradley Baker.
I was able to come up with good ones for you, and I just decided I was like,
Bradley Baker, bro. What are you talking about?
This
is the easiest question in Star Wars ever. Name all the Bad Batch. Oh,
Bradley Baker.
Woohoo! We win the Schmodown that day, my friend.
To be fair, he does have 3 names. He does have 3 names. So
like most assassins, sure.
Before the show, I bumped the poster, and it fell down, and the frame, which is just a cheap frame, it goes.
No,
it totally.
Is that a metaphor for the Star Wars cruiser, or is that just a coincidence?
No, because it's still better than the Star Wars cruiser.
I like how. For the money you're getting, you still get a 55-inch TV, but they make it look like a porthole.
Yeah,
and you can never change the channel.
Well, the thing to realize is that Wicket was trying to warn you guys back in 1984 when he kept saying Star Cruiser. He was trying to warn you, and you guys wouldn't know it. You guys wouldn't listen. You guys kept thinking about exactly what was going on the screen and not what he was trying to tell you. And good evening, Meg. Very nice video today, if I may say so myself. Yeah. So there was
you play that role long enough, you become Will OG.
Will OG. There was a pretty very small Star Wars promo for Boba that hit the internet today.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, it's so short. Obviously,
even better.
Yeah, it's very short.
We like him short.
Mm-hmm. So it's a short stack.
Attack of the Clones teaser short.
You know what? Man, I'm really off my game today. I edited the video and everything like that. I didn't upload it. Let me upload it real quick.
Aww.
Wait, yeah, it must be in my downloads. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I scheduled the show for the wrong time. I knocked the poster off the wall. Who knows what else I've done? I'm on fire today, though. I got to sleep in is why I think. I didn't have to take the kids directly to school, so I was like,
"They're gonna be off next week. You're gonna have the kids home all week."
I am. It's gonna be a party.
So no show next week?
No, it's gonna be shows. It's gonna be shows. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Fortnite still works, Rob. What are you talking about?
No,
I did watch some video of that Spider-Man footage in Fortnite. I'm like, they did a better job in that Avengers game for certain. Like, dude, I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm just saying, like, it's
the web slingers, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you get those down, it's super fun. But this promo, not so much about the footage, more about there's one new line in it. We are in sifting season, as I call it, where we sift every little baby bit, every little morsel of breadcrumb, probably once again from the first episode that they'll give us. But here it is. Let's unmute your mic if you want to talk over it. But here we go.
Welcome to the Underworld.
So there you go. New line. But there's also wait.
There was doo-doo feces thrown all over the walls, the floor, the ceiling, and it stunk so bad.
Yeah.
My friend, you gotta do doo-doo feces as text, like.
All right. So, all right. So let's watch it one more time. One more time.
Welcome to the Underworld.
So I'm guessing he says this at the table, right? When all the gangsters are at the table above the Rancor pit.
5 minutes. There was doo-doo feces thrown all over the walls, the floor, the ceiling, and it stunk so bad.
Now, I'm gonna tell you, when this ship launches, that clip's gonna come in handy.
Yeah, I definitely dream of the day when we're able to like both operate the show, because that is a soundboard worthy thing that we definitely need.
Oh, I'm just aching to hit that button.
Yeah.
I just like that. And look, it's good to know that if I ever want to get into Disney Plus marketing, all I need is a TikTok logo thing I can just put over stuff, you know what I mean? And then hit that render and we're done. So I think that's what I like. It's job security.
Yeah.
They should give Boba Fett the big anime head, you know? All the ninjas.
Those cute little hearts under the eyes that make your makeup look good. There's this thing when you go on every now and then, you'll be like, you won't be, but when I'm on like a dating app, I'm like, you'll see that they use like the filters from that stuff in their photos to make themselves look different, but on every photo. It's like, I'm not gonna date you on TikTok or on Snapchat.
Look, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Glamour shots is not gonna happen right now, so you're just gonna have to take what you get, buddy.
What else are you? I mean, listen, I don't blame anybody who doesn't wear makeup or doesn't want to do any of that shit at all. I wouldn't do it at all. Look at me as a man on a slouch. That said, if you do makeup, if you're into that shit, what else do you have to do during the pandemic when you're not supposed to be going out? I mean, come on, you should be looking like Whitney Houston.
Well, the problem, Jason, is I dropped my mouth. No, the problem is I have an anime eye fetish, and when you don't show up in real life with giant anime eyes, I'm fucking colossally let down. Mm-hmm. That's basically it. Like,
so what you have to do is like before you kiss, you have to get your phone and watch them in like AR almost.
I like, feel like I'm being abducted by an alien at any given moment. You know, just well dressed aliens.
Yeah.
Sparkles.
Yeah, I was hoping that we were going to get a new promo today from the StarWars.com YouTube channel, but that one right there, even they weren't throwing that one up. But I could be wrong. But is that the first time that's the first time we've heard him say "Welcome to the Underworld," right? Because it sounds more like his. It sounds more like his voice, like he's not saying it like he's in it, like with that Boba Fett helmet on, you know. Sounds more like the old clone trooper guy that we know.
Just want to say, this date back in 2003 or 4, whatever, this was released.
What is that?
Carlos Maglia's Star Wars Underworld.
Oh yeah, you love that thing.
I love this one. It's my kind of Star Wars. The story and the art.
Yeah.
Now, your average audience member will be like, "Oh, it looks stupid. Mm-hmm. Looks cartoony," and I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, motherfucker. So what?" You know?
Yeah.
Send me more hot takes.
Yeah. No. I that's my thing when it comes to the comics and the art and that kind of stuff is that I put so much more than I think the average person would on the writing. You know what I'm saying? If I could take a good story written with stick figures, to be honest with you.
This is a fun story. It's not to be mistaken for like trying to pretend to be the movie. So it's going to put in that quote from the movie, to remind you to be the movie. It's just a fun story.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Callbacks. I do hope I hope there comes a point where everybody at Lucasfilm has done so many callbacks that it's like frowned upon, where it's just like, oh, like that's tacky, because it is tacky.
Right.
You know, it's not
I
necessarily.
like how people were complaining when What If came out that there was callbacks in the alternate version stories of their callback stories.
yeah.
And I'm like, guys, that's not the same thing. Like, that's
Yeah.
the story. And we're talking about how fucking, like, look, I love Visions, but, you know, every episode it's like, punch it, or got a bad feeling about this, punch it, or got a bad feeling about this. So
Yeah, it's more of a for me. It's more like when I'm I'm into the story and it's working for me, and we're really moving along. And then all of a sudden, like somebody goes, "This is where the fun begins." I'm just like, "No, you didn't need to do it. You didn't need to do it. You were fine. You have."
I just heard Red Letter Media guy. What's his face? This is
What
where
did he
the
do?
fun begins. I just see the
Oh.
Red Letter Media dudes when he, for some
Yeah,
reason.
but that's. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a really highly valid criticism.
Yeah, it's good.
I
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I think I can let it go when it's the character doing it. Like if Anakin Skywalker says it in Clone Wars all the time, if it's his equivalent of the very annoying Link's or what does he say? Okay, princess, or whatever the hell he used to say. Like if that's his thing that he does, I could deal with that. I wouldn't want it, but I could deal with it. But when it's like all of a sudden, oh, wouldn't it be funny if Grand Moff Tarkin said that right now? And it's like, no, it wouldn't actually be that funny.
This is where the fun begins. Like he rolls R's where they're not supposed to, right? The fun begins.
Steven Stanton right now is just like this guy. He thinks he can roll the R. No, this guy can't roll the R.
I don't wear boots. What?
You sound like a lion or something just now when you did it.
Yeah, I sound like Scar. Right? I don't wear boots.
Definitely more like cats with the buttholes. Still CGI on.
That accurately describes my Tinder profile.
Cats with the buttholes.
My wife's like, "You have a what?" I'm like, "I don't know what we're talking about. I'm old."
Yeah. Cats with buttholes. Yeah. So we what do we got now? We got about 15 days or something like that till Book of Boba now. So it's not really far off. We're like about to hit the 2-week stretch. So it's gonna
That's
be
how long
nice,
it takes Tamura Morrison to get ready for an episode, though. He's got to like, oh, cause killing my back. It's very energetic.
It hurts when I lift my arm past this. Should I lift my arm past? No, just don't do that.
I call it lift 2 Grogus in this episode. You know, they're gonna give him 2 Grogus.
When Grogu shows up, he won't be alone. What? You mean he's out of daycare? Oh, he's still in daycare. Okay, cool.
Instead of my 2 dads, is my 2 Grogus.
My 2.
And it's just tomorrow with 2 Grogus. And what are we gonna do?
God. Wouldn't it be great if they just went full Gremlins and like whenever Grogu got wet, he multiplied and there was just like a bunch of them. Ah,
When he pees himself, it gets really like Tribble-like, you know?
Yeah. Hello, Dr. Denton.
Told him not to drink water before he went to sleep.
Yeah. Grogu he peed the fire spray, so they sent him away. You know, makes sense, right?
I like that. That's smart writing.
Smart writing.
Hold on. I gotta write this. This is really good. This is really good stuff. Hold on. Let me write this down. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Have you done your Christmas shopping yet? Are you?
We don't.
Shopper?
We don't.
You and the wife don't exchange.
We don't partake in the getting of gifts.
No.
You know, isn't being with me a gift enough, Jason? Haven't you learned this? You don't want to look. You don't want to buy me things, you know. So we spend time together. We get the tree, we decorate together. I make the food. She earns the majority of the living. Fair
Put
trade.
you in a stroller, write you down to buy me toys.
Look, ever since they got rid of big box toy stores, it's just not fun. What, am I supposed to go to the fucking toy aisle at Walmart and get excited? You know,
Target, just one aisle.
Target. Ugh. Yeah. I miss the big box toy store. I miss it. You know?
I thought that was Star Wars Santa for a second, saying all hell Krampus. I was like, finally he sees how metal it is. But it was James. Yeah.
James is like, I give up not the stories about the Macquarie. I'm like, well, then fucking shut up about it. Like, it's just, you're tantalizing me. It'd be like me talking about Brazilian barbecue all the time and Fogo de Chao, but we never freaking go. You know? Oh, this is so tasty. What was it like? Can't tell you.
Dude, I told you it's because the stories are so dirty, dude. There was a little person, there was cocaine, there was Mexico, there was a donkey, there was a soldier.
In his ripe young age, he probably doesn't remember. He's just too embarrassed. He kind of rambled. I don't know.
Maybe.
Staring at some booties. I forget.
All right.
Okay. Someone sent me on Instagram. They go, hey, have you been listening to Howard Stern? And I'm like, no, because when Eric died, I stopped listening. I pick it up every now and then. Not against Stern. It's just I missed my villain. You know? They said Ben Affleck was on, and he was complaining about Rick McCallum.
Really?
Yeah. So this came right before the show, bro. And I made coffee. I just blinked my head. So we got to dig it up, and we got to find out what Ben Affleck says about.
You don't know what he said though?
Not good.
Yeah. What would he say?
I don't.
What would Rick McCallum have to?
You know, I can't tell you.
Yeah. We
I'd like to tell you, but I can't. Not giving up the stories.
Man,
a lot was said.
Yeah,
that's 12 hours worth of material.
That's a whole episode. If you're not busy, I'm down to. I'll come back on.
No, Joel, Mitt Romney bankrupted Toys R Us, and Walmart had nothing to do with that. It's a lie.
It's a lie. It's all lies.
Yep.
It's all lies. All lies. Well, speaking of Rick McCallum, the other day I couldn't find it for some reason. I made like a big list of esoteric Star Wars fun facts.
Okay.
And I was like, on the days when there's not something, but stuff I find interesting at least. Okay. So here's what my notes say. Are You an Angel was written to be creepy and foreshadowing of Padme's eventuality. It was a little more obvious in the rough draft and more obscured in the subsequent drafts. Originally, he said something like, "Are you an angel? I've never seen a living being as beautiful as you." When Anakin's age was taken down to the 8 to 13 range from the 11 to 13 range, the dialogue increased to include the child's wandering mind style. So, and you could clearly see with that's where we get more of, let's let the kids come in and kind of improvise, but the wandering mind style, that word or that line, that's why Jake got it. That's what Jake did in that audition.
Maybe if they let him read the rest of the script, it would have made a big difference.
Yeah, but that's that's exactly what they were looking for,
and everything was perfect. It all worked out.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's so happy he got the role. Would anybody? It sucks, man. I don't think because obviously, even if you once you cast Anakin as an 8-year-old, you pretty much take him out the running for being the best part of the film, no matter who's cast, right? Unless it's not a dramatic role, so we could see the role that's written. So we got to move that out now. Okay, now what do we have here, right? That's where
we have foreshadowing that you're gonna die.
Yeah, our protagonist ain't gonna make it. You probably should bump up that protagonist role at that point. We gotta get this movie. Gotta get this movie pumping.
But, yeah, well, that
wasn't as creepy. I didn't think the line was creepy in the film. It just sounded like a 9-year-old reading a line. It didn't sound like something a kid would say. Well, and I don't mean a kid, a Star Wars kid.
Yeah, but when you're talking to somebody who is going to die and you say, "Are you an angel?" That is the. But he said, "I'd never seen a living being."
Okay, but here's where I go. All right, kid wants to be a pilot, so he should be like, "Here's my map. I mapped them out. They're over here, and they're in the Sentinel constellation. One day I'm gonna fly there, and I built the astromech droid." Pilot a ship. One day I'm gonna build a 4 ship, but I built the droid. I always felt Anakin should have made R2, not 3PO, because if he wants to be a pilot and explore the galaxy, he'd build an astromech droid. Every kid would be like, "I'm gonna need one."
But if you're not Darth Vader, and you're a really good person, You don't build yourself R2D2. You build your mom C3PO, and that is the heart, friend. That is the heart of it. Mm-hmm.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't. When you're a kid, your kid. You're saying your kids are really bad because they don't do things that you're thinking about you every second. They're running out and play Fortnite. I'm gonna plan on my Fortnite, and I'm gonna do these chores just to get that Fortnite skin, and I'm gonna do it to help my dad around the house. So you just have to. This is the dumbest moral ever put into Star Wars.
No, it makes complete sense when your mom's a slave and she has to work all day, and you make C3PO. So that way she could like go to bed. You know what I mean?
She's only cleaning up for you. She's not cleaning the shop. He's cleaning the shop. She's a slave for Anakin.
No,
he's already got a slave.
You see her. She's like working on parts and stuff. She's doing like tech work. For Watto.
Big part. Maxi, big role that was. Like, well, in the part.
Yeah, but it does have
polishing. All right.
I mean, we just see with this Leia going, I'm making the Millennium Falcon.
She should be broom sweepy. Can we just get some alternate takes where we can just get her actually cleaning?
Rob, this isn't Roots, okay? It's Star Wars. Come on.
Holy shit, I just realized that. This whole time. For 20 years. You know, it's because I can't help it. The illusion is so good in Star Wars. I'm constantly fooled. I thought it was Roots. No, motherfucker.
I swear.
What? This is embarrassing. I'm embarrassed now. This whole podcast. This whole time. I'm embarrassed for me. Why do I do this?
Yeah. No, but it does but I mean, when you look at it, I think it does show how in the draft process that was a mistake, because I mean, like literally that moment, the whole casting process was kind of hinging on that was the scene that they tested the actors with. That was a scene that they were doing the whole search for the right kid. And for the record, I like Jake Lloyd. To me, I feel his exuberance in the role. And like his the kind of like the skip in his step, and I enjoy it. It works for me, but I'm actually not expecting. I actually don't really think that children are good actors, and I don't think that putting. I think Haley Joel Osment is cringy, to be honest with you, which is who everybody wanted. Why did you get that little freak from The Sixth Sense? And I actually kind of find his acting to be a bit cringy. Little kids acting like adults makes my skin crawl. It's cringy to me. I just don't like it. It's stupid.
Yeah, you love Goonies.
Oh no, those act
and
like
the Monster
Goonies,
Squad.
Goonies, that's how kids act.
And
Goonies
the Monster Squad.
Yeah, Goonies is how kids act. That was more. That was a better, more realistic.
Well, it's how we thought we were acting when we were kids. They're not
more or less though.
Yeah. The truffle shuffles. The more we go, that's the meanest part of the movie. I'm like, that's really what it's like to be a kid.
That's like find your kid.
If they find your weakest link and just stay latch.
And then you go to the pool and you wear the shirt and everybody notices that you're wearing the shirt and it doesn't work.
You know, mine was I loved Superman when I was a kid, you know, Christopher Reeve. So my mom made me, like, it was one thing she actually did. She actually sewed me. She had to get my aunt to help, but she sewed me my own Superman with like outfit. It was cloth and had a nice shiny logo and a real cape. And I went to school and they're like, your ears are too big. You can't be Superman.
Yeah, can't win.
I'm like, I'm fucking 6. I can't be Superman. I don't have superpowers. No shit. But the ears, that's fucking dicks.
Otto really could have brought
teacher laugh, bro. The teacher laughed. You gotta know how the 80s were. The teacher was like, it's true, you can't. All right.
Yeah, I like if I had written to hit on what Johnny is saying, like if I had written Attack of the Clones, I would have had him go to Watto. Then I would have had Watto know where his mom was, and then I would have went out there, had Anakin kill them all, and then murder Watto, his guide. You know what I mean? Like in the westerns, they usually have a guide. I would have had to put Watto in the guide, and then I would have had him kill him because he put them in that situation. He also would have known that his mom was out there and that kind of stuff, and dealt with Watto. But I really want Watto to
blame Jonathan Hales. Lucas bears no responsibility for that.
No,
Yeah, I blame Jonathan Hales.
Jonathan Hills and
He took control.
and oh god, who's the writer of Rosencrantz and what do you call it, Are Dead?
Guildenstern.
Both
That's
of
Marco
them.
Rubio, right? No, it's Marco
Rubio?
Yeah, the guy who wrote Troops, Marco Rubio. What?
Kevin Rubio.
Oh, Kevin Sorbo, Marco. I get them all confused.
He's nice dude.
Marco Sorbo wrote Troops. My bad.
Kevin Sorbo. No, Kevin Sorbo wrote.
It's working. If I do it enough, eventually in your mind, you'll become me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's a fan film called Blue Lives Matter or something like that. But anyways,
Blue Milk.
Blue Lives Matters.
And it's just Mark on.
Oh, all right. Stormtroopers can do whatever they want.
It tastes sweeter than you think. Oh, shit.
Yeah. Dude, I need this Rick McCallum business.
I know, right?
Did you know that his the old British dude who's in Austin Powers, like the guy who like gives
Michael Caine?
No, not Michael Caine. He's like one of those guys though.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Michael Caine.
Michael Goff.
It's God, you're making this way harder. You said the wrong name and I'll never get on.
I'll take the physical challenge.
Anyways, it's Basil. He's Rick
Basil.
Basil. He's Basil. He's Rick McCallum's stepdad.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and he's in Clone Wars. He has he might have been in the role of the mad scientist in Blue Shadow Virus, I want to say. Could be wrong about that, but
Ray Oregano. That was his name in Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Ray Oregano. A lot of Rays.
But so McCallum does have, ties to Hollywood in general beyond his George Lucas independent filmmaker streak, So curious, but
when
why
you produce 100 documentaries? People.
But I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if he produced those actually. To be honest with you,
He was in the room.
Yeah, he was definitely at Lucasfilm at the time, so probably. Yeah. But yeah, what could his problem be with him? That's so strange.
Every time they cut to Rick McCallum in a Young Indiana Jones Chronicles documentary or a Episode 1 documentary, it always looks like they caught him playing Minesweeper.
Right.
He's like, he wraps something up, taps the desk, leans back, swivels. Like, what were you doing? Just preparing for the show. Whatever you need is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Take this phone call right here.
I found a Howard Stern review of Attack of the Clones. The Hollywood Reporter posted their review of Attack of the Clones. And then this is a little thing about a Howard Stern. Wait, is it still up? Oh, wow. This is old internet stuff. But it's this old internet page called marksfriggin.com. Stern Show highlights. And but it's like
this is what I was saying. Yo, are you listening to Howard Stern right now? So that's today's show.
Yeah.
Right, so it wouldn't be up. Ben Affleck is on and talking about what an a-hole, not my words, Rick McCallum is. Emoji, thumbs up. Yeah. Ben hates him and says everyone in Hollywood does too. LOL, so awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like that is the I don't know, man.
Love Basil.
I don't know why. I don't know what it would be.
I was like, fuck my stepkid.
A ton of Hollywood people.
Yeah.
We're a Hollywood person. Rick was always cool to me. Always super. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess I wasn't trying to make a deal with him or something, or didn't fuck me over. Or something.
Which Ben Affleck is saying it, the responsible one that made some Oscar-nominated films, or or Oscar-winning, whatever, however it worked out, or the one who's chain smoking with Dunkin' Donuts. There's a couple different Ben Afflecks. I don't know which
trust that one more though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if we getting obviously, if he says Rick McCallum's an asshole and everyone hates him, I mean, we're got to be getting the chain smoking Dunkin' Donuts, Ben Affleck. Like,
The one thing that I could tell you about Lucasfilm is changing. You know, the new people are coming in. New people are running the PR. It's a different time. So
it's a whole new world.
It's we're getting there. Things are changing, and that's good. But I can tell you for a fact that the old Lucasfilm PR knew what they had with the Star Wars prequels, but they literally burned the bridges bad with the mainstream media, and by being withholding, by just not answering when asked questions, and just being like, yeah, we're Star Wars, we don't answer to anybody. And I'm sure at times it was completely fine and made sense for them, but there's other times when that's not how things are done. And in that process, they just made it where by the end of it, Harry Knowles of Ain't It Cool News wouldn't deal with them. Like that's how high on the horse they were with their shit. And it was over the Clone Wars movie, ironically of all things. But they basically, every single person I know who used to write for magazines or is in publishing over the years has just been like, oh my God, they're insufferable. Like you would think that if they were going to give you a pile of gold, and they're like, this stuff doesn't bring us any more profit than anything else big. It's the same stuff, but it's twice the work. And
now you know what it's like to make Star Wars shirts. Now you're getting an idea about what that feels like.
I had our new t-shirt company designed in my sleep last night. I just remembered. So are you ready for it?
Okay.
You're gonna draw it. And I'm gonna run it. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay. NFTs.
No one ever thought of that, my friend. It's already taken, by the way.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I figured.
No. I checked the second I hit. I just wanted to squat on. I just wanted to squat on it and get paid. I figured I'd fuck them. You know what I mean? Like that would be worth it. Like I'll take the hit. You know. But
I was watching the show on YouTube when I was sleeping called Internet Today that I like. That just like handles like internet news every day, and they were talking about how McDonald's did an NFT for the McRib, but I guess like before it was bought, somebody went in there and wrote some like really racist sounding like words in it, you know, like Ebonics, you might say, and probably even not Ebonics really. And it's stuck on there. Like they wrote that in and somebody won the NFT and now it says that forever and they can't change it.
Wow. You know, you just draw over it in MS Paint.
No, it's in the digital aspect of it. Like I think like when you like go to, it's like in the code or written below it or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very permanent. Sure.
No. Well, I mean, no, they can't change it though, as long as it exists. Yeah, it is what it is. It's in the blockchain.
They're gonna be able to change. I like his whole digital scarcity. We can't change it. The whole internet's based on ripping shit and changing it. Like the whole internet, it thrives on this. Like fan edits exist. Everything gets changed. And no, but see, it just says right there you can never. That'll be the one thing they'll be able to change within a year. Like nothing's permanent when it's digital. Oh, wow. That's the whole point.
It's pouring rain out here. This is strange for us Californians. But
yeah, we got snow today. It's nice.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
God, I want snow. I love snow.
Well, it's that nice snow where it's just out there and it's cool and crisp out, you know, and not like the fucking thing, you know, situation. So
oh yeah, but to go back, because our show is 80 HD to the max, 4K.
You don't even have 4K views, bro.
You do have when you add us up on all the platforms, it's not terrible.
Yeah, about 4,000 views if you add everything up.
But, it was what I was going to say was you have Anakin literally like having this line that comes off as corny, Are you an angel? It sounds like Will Smith trying to pick up a chick on the Fresh Prince television show, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But it's really like supposed to be somewhat that, but also the foreshadowing of this character, and it's supposed to have these undertones of things to come, and then it's completely lost by the like release of the film because it was scaled down, and because you have the kids going, "Are you an angel?" The Deep Space Pirates talking about it, But and
It's just
and
like I said, like you got a character. You're writing down. I wrote down. See what we know about Anakin so far. Best starfighter pilot in the galaxy. Probably wanted to be a pilot. Why was he a pilot? Well, he was a slave. Could never go anywhere. This all makes sense. This is basic writing tracking. You're like, all right, what would he do? He'd have maps up. He'd dream about. He couldn't build a spaceship, but he started with a pod racer because he's got engines. You know what I mean? Like he's building things because one day he wants to build his own spaceship. And like all these things track. And then Lucas goes, no, nah.
yeah,
Loves his mom so much. I loves his mom, and she left him for interior designer. And now he kills everybody.
It was the carpenter. Yeah, it's so. I feel on one hand, man. I mean, think of how fucked up that is, though. Like George Lucas is like, I'm hiring this guy to come build like a window in the library of the Skywalker Ranch, and then he fucks my wife.
Bro, he should have been happy it wasn't Coppola, all right? like look who he's hanging around with. Come on now. He's not exactly, when your best friend's Francis Ford Coppola, who takes by the way, who's very open about his like go listen to Coppola's audio commentary on Patton. Where he's just like, look, people say Russian women are ugly, but they're the most beautiful women ever. like Coppola's exploits were like he'd take his wife and she'd know what he was doing. Do you know why that was? Do you know where the ugly Russian trope came from? No.
I actually do. There was a debate with I think Nixon and Khrushchev, and it was called the kitchen debate. And essentially what they were doing is American discourse was trying to push this idea that we had a washing machine, a dryer, and an oven. And, all of the appliances, the toaster, the blender. So what it would allow is it would allow your wife to stay home and put the stuff in there, doll herself up like it's a pandemic, and, get all beautiful for you. So when you came home, she was like, here's your dinner, honey. And she looked stunning. You'd bone it out and have some turkey. And so what they were doing is the American press pushed the idea that Russians didn't have that under communism. Therefore, they all look like, I am Helga. I put like how Borat's wife is depicted. And they actually did push that. And you could go to the New York Times and you could start reading coverage after the kitchen debate. And you'll see that idea pushed really, really hard. And then we have a genius like Coppola who goes over to Russia and is like, have you guys not seen Gotcha?
Won't you take me to Coppola Town?
Yeah. I mean, have you not seen Gotcha? Beautiful.
Bro, it's one of the first movies I ever saw.
Was she Russian in Gotcha?
Huh? Eastern European. Close enough.
It works for me.
Across the wall. Could have been Eastern German, but I don't know.
Hey, our buddy As It True. How's it going, dude? Loved having you on the other day. My kid watched some of the episode. Thought I was super cool. Thank you for coming on. It says the gaming Bring Home the Bounty reveal today was indeed a Boba Fett controller, as we suspected. Yeah, I saw it last night.
Shagging. I
saw the GameStop pre-order open up, and it's like a Boba Fett Xbox controller kind of thing with like a base, right?
Yeah.
And I actually bought my daughter an Xbox controller, a new one for Christmas because her old one broke. And I was like, do I get it for her? I'm like, then I had to ask myself, am I getting this for me if I get it? I'm like, no, I don't want it. But I just got her a red one instead. But yeah, I mean, and it's sort of obvious. If it was something big, they weren't going to tell us about it. Like they weren't going to put it on a Bring Home the Bounty thing, because if it had been something like, oh, we're going to announce Star Wars Bounty Hunters, a new television series, for instance, I'm making that up, but for instance, then it would have leaked out. Somebody would have fished around and found it, and it would have leaked out. So yeah, kind of is what it is on that front. It's they don't it's weird because it's like I get it, like they have to market their stuff, like it is what they have to do as a company, and they have to draw anticipation. The problem is when they let the fan base get too thirsty in the wrong direction, then that stuff becomes insulting. Isn't it kind of fascinating how that works?
Bro, you just don't see Marvel going, we're going to have Avengers Saturday. Here's the countdown. Here's all the, what could it mean? And then it's fucking, you don't see this from DC with preparing for the Justice League week of, and it's like fucking pencil top erasers and shit.
I don't follow them, so I actually don't know. Yeah. Do you
just don't. They don't do this. They're the only ones who do this shit. It reminds me, the mentality reminds me of when companies thought it'd be a good idea to put countdown clocks on their websites. And I remember Square, it was Square or one of these companies that did it, and the countdown clock led to another countdown clock. And I was like, fucking thank you. You know? Like everyone was like, yeah. Just can't take it.
Yeah. I used to have one on Making Star Wars for the next film. And then around Solo, I started to be like, okay, we couldn't have the Solo one up the whole time, so because we had the Last Jedi one up, and then I went over to the Solo one, and I was kind of like, you know what, we need to. I might have kept it for 9, I can't remember, but I was really like not wanting it anymore, so I got rid of it. I need to get back into writing on the site. For some reason, like I enjoy this so much more that instead of like writing on the site, I end up like making stuff for this instead.
I understand.
Yeah,
I don't take offense.
No,
being with me every day.
No. I'm like literally saying the opposite. I prefer to like do this than to write for the site.
Site probably makes more money though. I like how like the premiere logo is your site logo, and this looks all legit, and then comes little bouncing Lucas.
Yeah,
I'm like, I love that. You thought you were going to get this cruiser, but instead you got the Happiness Hotel, and it is a better experience, I can assure you.
Yeah, no, I've been in some cheap motels and had some good times in them, but that one does not look like it. That doesn't. I mean, if maybe if there was like a tacky hot tub in there, and I was like, hey,
back to tank. It's a back to tank, bro. You gotta play a lot.
Well,
you gotta get fully immersed, put on the fucking thing. I love Star Wars, $6,000. So,
I do have to say,
David Carradine was found dead to back to tank. You know that, right? Like,
we are. I mean,
I'm going to hell.
I have to add. I've kind of teased it as a joke, not teased it, but I bet you, dude. I bet you there's going to be so much porn shot in those hotel rooms. like you know what I'm saying? Like that's,
and I can assure you they could blue screen themselves into better looking porn than what will be shot in that hotel.
Yeah. But watch that's gonna be the unintended side effect of the whole thing. I'm sure they anticipate it to some degree, but I mean,
it should have just been Party the Huts, man. I'm telling you, opens up a new party resort on Baku. You go there, you get the show 3 or 4 times a day. You get to see the bounty hunters might show up randomly, so you can wheel out the Boba Fett costume or the Mando costume here and there, right? Bounty hunters will come and go. Different alien creatures will come and go, so you can wheel them in and out, and then you leave and go to the fucking park like everyone else will.
So I don't know if Darth Maximus. I think he may be able to remote view into the future because he's channeling Sasha Grey, and I will never forget her either. Darth Maximus, I will never forget her either. Anyways, yeah, I want to do one more fun fact about the Phantom Menace, because I have this other one that I don't think is like topic worthy.
I got that whole Puref doc too. I can share if you wanted to go through that stuff.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I got stuff. You got stuff. What did Ronnie used to say? I with guys, with girls, with guys, with girls.
I'm into being dudes and guys, like with the guys and girls. Scores man.
Oh, for a second, I
Stop.
thought,
In the moons of Diego, you know.
All right. Most of the sets, you might have heard this one before. Most of the sets for the Phantom Menace started construction and planning well before casting was done. The sets were built for an average height of a man. Then the top of the set were to be finished digitally, saving a lot of money on supplies. Once they cast Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon, they had to spend a few $1,000s to make every set higher if Neeson was involved.
That's the tallest man in Hollywood.
It ended up costing them $150,000 for sets, thanks to Liam Neeson being 6'4" instead of 6 foot. Yeah, it's kind of funny, right?
I mean, it's not as bad as Kurt's, but it's up there.
That isn't on McCallum. He was making a very, right. He was, what he was doing was what made complete sense. I mean, a part
except they have a video game department. I don't know if you're aware, and they were already making 3D games, but you base everything in a game on a unit of measurement. And that unit of measurement is based around your protagonist. So everything, Mario is the, 2 units, right? Or like the head, or the little Mario is the base unit, the big Mario is 2. That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is, what is the man we're basing this off of? Warwick or George Lucas? Like who is the base unit? Because it turns out we got a 9-foot base unit now entering the set, and nothing works. Like we gotta extend the sets.
Yeah,
maybe the base unit should have been the tallest person being cast, continually on camera.
Well, I think usually that would have put somebody out of the casting. That would have made like Liam Neeson. No, we're not going to cast you, but because he was Liam Neeson from Schindler's List at that time, not Liam Neeson from Taken.
Sorry, it was Rob Roy's Liam Neeson. Get it straight, my friend.
Yeah, but they were
way better than Braveheart.
They were casting by far, but
they murdered his family, and he was really look. All I'm saying, if you want to see the real prequel to Taken, go watch Rob Roy.
Oh, how about this? Qui-Gon Jinn's Taken. You killed the Jedi. You murdered you killed my family. And then he goes after Anakin. The ghost goes after Anakin.
I've thought about releasing a fan edit and just calling it Taken 1602, and I've changed nothing. I just released Rob Roy, changed the logo.
Yeah, but that right there is, I think, also tells us a little something though about when he was cast too, because they were already very late, or it wasn't finalized at least.
So who dropped out?
I don't.
Or was Lucas being cagey until the last second? Was like, how old is Obi-Wan?
Yeah, Well, did you ever know that Benicio del Toro was going to be Darth Maul?
No, I didn't know that.
He was going to be Darth Maul in episode 1, and they wanted him to wear the face paint and do all that shit, and he was just like, "Nah." But I think that's badass. I mean, that was him going no. Like when Star Wars was fucking Star Wars, he was like, "Nah, I'm not going to do it," and then he turned it down, and then that's why Ray Park ended up getting the role. Ray Park was just supposed to be the stunt man for him.
Yeah, that's how Sam Worthington got the role in Avatar.
Yeah.
Look, I don't defend his acting in that film. I just say he sounds like an average jarhead.
No,
I sounded that stupid when I was 19 or 22, getting out the military. That's about how I would act. It's not a leading man, I don't think, and he's obviously surrounded by incredible talent, so it works on that level, but let's be honest,
Yeah. Oh, I'm having my soul is nagging at me. One sec. Hi, I'm a cartoon depiction of Jason Ward. You can support the show on patreon.com/MakingStarWars or on YouTube by becoming a channel member. It hurts to be a cartoon. It's very painful, in fact. But know that every time this channel gains a supporter, a little piece of my soul leaves this Toon universe and returns to Jason, making us whole again. This show will always be free, but it's never been free to create. If you think it deserves it, become a channel member or a Patreon supporter. Thank you for the support. Please, help me die. All right, let's bring
You need
up...
that official Making Star Wars logo. The really official looking one after that.
Did you ever notice that the theme is the same as the main theme for the show? I just changed it to Creepy Choir Boys.
Yeah, I did actually. I'm like, I really like that. I liked the Muppet Mouth, but I was wondering, what would it be like if we rotoed the mouth solid skin, right, the whole face, and then we added South Park mouth, like just that, the phonetics, like, would that look funny?
Yeah, I'm still trying to learn like how to do like mouths in general. Like I spent like 6 hours on the first pass of that with my mouth, and then it all became my beard. My beard over.
Yeah, I don't care about the quality. I mean, you could always get better at it. I'm just saying, would it be funny? Because the South Park kind of mouths are hilarious. Like when they go, like they're so fucking dumb. Like it's the best part of South Park is the mouths. Like it's a lot of work went into making that look funny. If you watch even like older cartoons like Dr. Katz or Family, or The Critic, things like that. Yeah. Those mouths, they're not funny. They're just they do they're good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. No. I actually want to learn how to do it right, because it would just be easier just to do it right the first time. But yeah, I want to figure something out. But it's like my first week doing it, really, because it takes hours to render out all the PNGs on it and stuff for the program, and then I combine the PNGs to make the animation, and it takes time. It's very slow on my Mac.
Outsource it. Be a capitalist.
If anybody wants to do it, I'll outsource it to you for free. And then and he mentions, what about Tupac supposed to play Mace Windu? Yeah, Tupac was somebody who they were going to talk to, or did. I don't know if they talked to him or were going to talk to him about the prospect of it. But I do think Samuel L. Jackson going after it always made it where Samuel L. Jackson was going to get the role, honestly.
He just came off Jackie Brown too. You got to remember,
Yeah,
he's kicking ass.
Yeah.
So I went into the photo archives book and started Empire Strikes Back, since we're getting all mandoed up. Yeah. Surprisingly, though, not a lot on Boba Fett in that one. Really? I think they moved a lot of that conversation to, because the clone book came out, I think, before the prequel trilogy book came out before the original trilogy book. I think, I don't know how it worked out, but a lot of the Boba Fett stuff is in the prequel trilogy book, which I have both, but we've covered that before. So, but yeah, not a lot. There is a lot on the making of Empire, though, so that gets kind of interesting. So,
wait, really quickly, can you imagine if Tupac had got the role and then got shot? Like the headlines would have been like, Mace Windu, Order 66. Sorry. Okay, I did say it. Go on.
I'm just wondering how you get Sam Jackson off of Jackie Brown, and all he does is sit there and give you the fucking rock eyebrow the whole time.
Well, they didn't go after him. He went after them. It was just supposed to be a role.
I know, but I've been reading about Mace Windu since the Adventures of Starkiller script, dated 1974. Like, Mace was in there.
No, it was Mace Windu. And it was Luke Skywalker.
Big fucking difference. I've been waiting to see that Mace character. I thought he was going to be like his name is Mace, man. He should have had a Mace saber. Mace.
You know where you saw it? You saw it in the Ewok movies. That's the Mace. That's Mace Windu.
Yeah, now I know why I didn't watch those movies so much as a kid. Anyways, yeah. So we got some quotes. We got some stuff on the making of Empire if we wanted to get into it.
Yeah, we do.
I thought this stuff was kind of fun. So Lucas talking about making Empire. We could see when they had to sketch the crawls. That's great. Right, look at that. We need to like draw like such a
dive.
I know.
Yeah,
I like the arrow.
Pretty interesting because they didn't release. Well, it's funny that it's called Chapter 5. Instead of episode 5, and then they didn't put the episode 4 until the re-release of A New Hope.
Well, it says the 4th episode right there.
Oh, it does say chapter 5, the 4th episode.
That's great. That wouldn't be confusing.
Chapter 5, the 4th episode. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Oh, no, wait. The 4th episode was such a success. We've decided to make another.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm late. That's why I was trying to get you to finish it.
Gotta read it.
It's temp text. It's ironic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Get it? But I thought that was great, right? You think they would allow it?
Magazine.
I think now, as a concept artist, if I turn that in, I'd get yelled at.
Yeah.
You know? Like, funny. So this is dated November 1979. I was just a little year old.
Wow, November? I wasn't born yet. I was punching my mom in the puss at that time, kicking it.
Okay.
Yeah.
James was like, and I was at Comic-Con talking to Ralph McQuarrie again. Not telling you about it.
Yeah, I was doing cocaine with Ralph McQuarrie. Did I ever tell you about it? By the time we ate chicken together? Well, we ate chicken together, and it was really good.
Me and Katie Baker went on a ravage in Tijuana. Who knows what we produced?
About Kenny Baker's floral garden. It's beautiful. He has lots of tulips. And all right. So all right. So
technically, the first time pods were officially in a Star Wars. Just saying.
What if Anakin races those? Episode 1. I have this idea.
We got a nice quote here. Lucas goes, hold on. He goes, when I was starting a style, I said each film is going to start in space. Each one's going to start with a Star Destroyer or some ship, because the titles go into the stars. Into the stars, Tom DeLonge. And we did not plan that. It's funny. And we pan down to wherever, and then we start the movie, you know?
Yeah.
George Lucas. All right.
Yeah. No, I mean, and you know, like it is kind of funny how things like that become like tradition, and then people get very serious about tradition. And it's like, it was simply just it was a workflow move when you get down.
I love how Rogue One just bang. Like, I love that. Like, I love it. I love the crawl, but not for everything. Remember when you were starting to get Star Wars games a lot? Like Rebel Assault and Super Star Wars, and you're like, this fuck. It was like the THX logo. Like when it first started happening, you were like, oh yeah, and then it was like, fucking make it stop. Like,
yeah.
Oh.
Well, when the THX logo first hit the scene, you were seeing something special, usually something that where quality mattered. It was like the fucking Abyss or something like that. It was like things that were actually like really good. And then by the end of it, everybody was using it. So it was like Still Magnolias. You're like, no, we're just watching Still Magnolias, homie. Let's just chill out.
Schindler's List.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Shit.
Nothing
And
matters.
they put one of the letters in red on Schindler's List. I don't think it was appropriate. All right, so this is about making and financing his own sequel.
Yes, this is scary stuff.
So let me see here. Let me start this. So this is Lucas talking to Alan Ladd Jr. So this is an interview with him and Paul Duncan, the writer of the book. But the setup here is Lucas is saying that he went to talk to Laddie Jr. about financing his own sequels. So Lucas says, I don't know, should I do the voice the whole time or just read it?
If it's George Lucas, you do the fucking voice.
I'll do the voice. So he says all the things I already knew. This is very dangerous, blah, blah, blah. What if the films don't make any money? Thanks, Dad. You could go broke. This isn't a game. So like Laddie's like, hey man, you know, we you know, you can go broke. Yeah. So Paul says, you don't strike me as someone that's easy to persuade. Otherwise, once you've made up your mind. So all I'm saying is he's talking to George Lucas and he's saying, you know, once you've decided, no one can change your fucking mind. So when people say he was surrounded by yes men and that wasn't true, I don't believe it. Yeah. I think when Lucas is like, he's 8 and he loves his mother, fucking deal with it. Like that, no one's going to fucking ever complain.
Right.
So Lucas says, no, I'm very, very stubborn. And that's one of the reasons I'm here. Yeah. I wouldn't come out the womb. Hold on.
Oh, wait. Somebody just sent me something. Right. From a site called cheatsheet.com. This is from last year. People who had nothing to do with them would mock them. The Bennifer period was a whirlwind. Affleck doesn't hold any grudges. However, he remembered one example that illustrated just how easy it was for people to pile on him. Affleck talking to THR, I guess. I remember this guy, Rick McCallum, the producer, basically a glorified line producer of the middle 3 Star Wars movies. He did an interview at that time where somebody said, "Isn't it a little much that Anakin Skywalker slaughters Jedi children?" He goes, "I don't know. Look at Ben Affleck. He killed children." I just thought, what the fuck is wrong? To be so cavalier as to say that about anybody you don't know. It's not even an indictment of him. I don't know him. I never met him. I don't care about him.
I'm not saying I didn't kill children. I'm just saying, why is he talking about it?
It's just
shut your mouth.
Demonstrative of the degree to which it was permitted. Once it becomes cool to make fun of somebody, then everybody makes fun of them. Ben Affleck, THR Awards Chatter Podcast, 1/14/21.
In a movie, Ben Affleck killed kids and he was the hero? What was that, Reindeer Games? What movie was he talking about?
I don't.
He spanked kids in Dazed and Confused. I mean, I'm trying to figure out.
That was like Dogma era, right? It was like
like I guess maybe the scene in Dogma, where there was that scene where there were angels and they lit up a room where he killed it.
Does it happen in Phantoms? I can't remember.
The fuck is he talking about? I don't know. It must have happened. But he was making up lie. I mean,
it's strangely weird, if there's not more to it, to be mad at Rick McCallum specifically of everybody who was making fun of the Bennifer thing. I'm just that's what
I like that it's that one guy that gets it.
I mean, it's great for the show. I mean, we're gonna talk about
I like that he won't let go of shit that went down in the early 2000s, because none of us will. I mean, we're still mad at fucking Limp Bizkit, you know? Like,
God, I will never be over wanting to beat the shit out of that guy. But yeah, I gotta stop saying I want to beat the shit out of people. But yeah, it's definitely
you do. You go tell your kids, "Hey, now I got to be nice." Okay. Like, but on the podcast,
can I have two? Can I just have
Ben
two?
Affleck beat the shit out of people.
Rob, can I have two?
Okay.
The captain of the Star Cruiser, want to beat the shit out of him.
Okay.
And Limp Bizkit. The shit out of him.
Do we consider Limp Bizkit one person now?
Yeah,
like Voltron?
Because I mean,
it's not 5 lions.
The motherfucker wrote something called Hot Dog Water. He just gets to be Limp Bizkit. You know?
So if he dated John Lennon, it would have been all right. Is what you're saying?
I actually went out. Did I tell you about this? I went out with a really beautiful woman one time, and in it she mentioned that she was a groupie for a while, and I was like, really? That's gross. But who was it? And I'm hoping it's somebody I really admire, and it was Limp Bizkit, and they killed it for me. So that's
look. Hot Dog Water is no temporary secretary, Jason. We can't all make the winners here, you know.
Fred Durst is Dennis Lawson size, as James tells us. You could take him.
Man, James, you never let it go. You pick on one short person and never let you fucking forget it. So,
how about
he's incredibly short, so it is mean. But
he got a tattoo of Kurt Cobain with Elvis. I mean, it's just like that's just the equivalent of not getting it. But
yeah,
anyways.
but it's like parachute size on him. So, so Lucas goes, I make up my mind. One sec. I make up my mind about something, and I'm willing to go all the way to the end for it. I think for a lot of movies, you have to do that. If you believe in something strongly enough, you really have to be able to commit everything: heart, soul, finances, wife, everything you got to make it work. Mm-hmm. I was doing that on Empire because I didn't want to have to explain that it's not a good movie because I didn't fight the studio enough to get my way. So he's willing to say if it's not a good movie, it's on him.
Yeah.
See, that's what I take away from it. So you can't complain about prequel hate, George. You're a writer, Paul. Yeah. I love when an interviewee tells the interviewer what they are. That's my favorite. That's my favorite move. You know, you do the podcast awards. You know what I'm talking about.
I wish you had mentioned that. I would have been like, Ahmed, you're Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, you act. You know? Yeah. How would you like it if you had an accountant who said, "No, I don't like this word here. Let's put that over there. I'm going to write that for you." That sounds like every fucking editor I've ever dealt with. Yeah. An editor, in theory, is an educated person who knows the medium. And in a lot of cases, their advice is very valuable. But a studio executive isn't that. Yeah. That's the thing about Hollywood. You got people who basically know nothing about making a movie. They don't even know how it happens. Yet they command and have these ideas about how they're the ones basically making the movie. And all they're doing is running the studio and getting the letter of credit from the bank and taking 20%. No. and they love to walk around and pretend like they have something to do. And that's all they do, really, because they cause trouble. Making movies is this is where a publicist would have been like, let's cut it here, right? But he keeps going. Yeah. See, making movies is professional gambling. It's like hiring a professional poker player, like Ben Affleck, to go to Las Vegas. You say, here's $200 million. Come back with $500 million, and there's a talent there. Some people can do that, and some people can't. So you hire somebody who's one of the best in the world. You sit down, and then the studio executive's sitting behind him saying, I don't know about that.
No, but I mean, look at where that guy's head's at. Then look at the PR side of it that I mentioned at Lucasfilm, and then you have a PR nightmare. I mean, and that's
there's so many things. I could do a whole show on this. Yeah. Right. There's so many things you can take away from this. So one, what you said, that it's a PR nightmare is one. Two, Lucas, is he describing his experience in 1975, 78, 79, around there? Is he experiencing his experience? Is he talking about now? Because when he says 200 million, no one was getting 200 million for a movie in 75. They were like, well, like you might get 20. You know, like he's like, it's a low budget film. I got no money. I don't know what to do. Now he's like, hey, we're giving you a lot of money. You got to bring it back. You know, like that's what you're making now. Now you're making a $200 million movie. You know,
well,
like it,
I want to say in the 90s, like that's where like wasn't in the 90s like the $400 million was like the big
no movie. James Cameron made Terminator 2 for $100 million. That was the most expensive film.
No, made like profits.
Oh, earned profit.
Yeah,
I think the most profitable film probably if I had to bet, the most profitable film of the 90s was probably Pulp Fiction. If I had to put money on it, profitability.
I'm thinking back to like even like I want to say movies like Batman '89 and stuff like that, or like Batman Returns were bringing like 400 million, and people were like, fuck.
Yeah, they put up 50 million, you know, for a Batman. And make 300 million plus, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So look at this sounds like it's during the prequel era based off of those numbers. Come back with here's 200 million, come back with 500 million. That sounds like this interview is in the 90s to me.
And he's saying he's talented because he can do that. And I'm like, can you, or are you writing out the coattails?
Yeah.
I'm not shitting on him. There's always that part of me that like anytime, like here we can have fun, but like if I had to do a legitimate interview, I have to be very careful about like, all right, if I say this, then I gotta always think about like I'm doing this shit too, right?
Yeah. Paul Duncan's a Lucasfilm guy, so this is internally, right? This is
and this is his boss. Just let him talk. Like I'm all for letting the CEO ramble. So I also like how he says everyone running Hollywood doesn't know what they're doing, you know, and now you get. What was that article that came out a while back about the WB, right? That was all these, when AT&T bought them, it was all these Wall Street guys who were telling them what to do. I'm like, that sounds it's always been that way, you know? Well, doesn't sound like that's anything new.
Yeah, well, like the music industry is highly broken. And
James got me with Blair Witch right at the end of fucking the 90s.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, right at the fucking end of Indiana Jones. But I'm sure before that of the 90s. Pulp Fiction had to be up there just because it cost nothing to make it, and look how much it did. You know,
I mean, there was sort of like in the music industry too, sort of like an unspoken kind of thing of, you know, you foster artists in order that they will make something highly profitable, and so basically like a few films carry everything. George Lucas found so a few records, you know, Pink Floyd or some shit like that carries the whole label for a time, and you have a bunch of people that aren't making money that are doing records that are waiting to get to that one record that connects. And so it was kind of like, it was almost like college in a way, you know what I mean? And
I also like how James drops knowledge on me because he can look it up. All I'm saying is he can't remember any story when he's on the show. So, you know,
come on,
before you be dropping numbers, you got to be able to remember stories, James.
James knows the stories.
Look, I get stuff wrong. I check me more than anybody checks me, but
he's just waiting for you not to be here so you can tell them in my sweet, sweet ear. No, but anyways,
it's true.
But George Lucas found himself in the place where doesn't think he's going to be releasing a Red Tails. He doesn't. He's
also saying he doesn't want the studio giving creative feedback on any level.
But he's the one who's going to be carrying the studio. So why do it? Why not just circumvent the fucking studio altogether and carry yourself?
Except he still needed him for distribution. But then he complains about how he overspent on Empire. Well, they would have had George, the studio would have had someone who understood inflation budgeted the fucking script.
The irony that
growing pains.
The irony that he posits later on is that I became the corporate guy, trying to leave it. Is that that happens on Empire? Let
me give you a real world example that I'm familiar with. In the 90s, seven Marvel artists left and formed a company called Image, right? And the biggest running joke for a number of years in comics was that their books never ship on time. They can never ship a book. Oh, they can't ship a book. Everything's always late. And Navigate, they did too much, and they obviously took their time doing it more than they should. But a big bottleneck was they weren't prepared for distribution and the difficulties navigating the direct market. Cut to now, when people get a Kickstarter and they're like, shit, man, the book's like, hey, it's late. Just chill out. Oh, it might take a year. Oh, I bought a Starship from Hasbro Pulse. I don't know when it's coming. No one knows. Who cares someday? But the irony is once you all experience what it's like to do it, then you go, oh, yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, George Lucas ends up, he ends up with the directorial foregoing its fees, owning the licensing to a Star Wars, and then they start making the movie, and the movie isn't being brought in on time, and he's having to be the studio guy now who's saying, fucking get done, stop making it so perfect. And but he also has to go to Bank of America and take a $30 million personal loan. That's like, ooh, that's if your student loans have ever kept you up at night for a few, imagine that.
This is where, if you guys are really interested in this period, which I love it, in the Rinsler book, the transition from LA to Marion to the Skywalker Ranch and building all of that, that transitional period, to me, that's the series you make on Netflix. You make that period between Star Wars and Empire where everything gets transitioned and he becomes this other thing. And that dream he had of this zoetrope compound that would be all creative and have these people is also set behind the realities of, I have to personally finance all this stuff and deal with licensing and make sure I'm not getting ripped off left and right. And the celebrity status of, wow, what do you do when you realize you can afford a chef now to cook your food, and you're not used to all that stuff, and his wife and him, that period of 77 to 80, I think it's just fascinating to read.
Yeah. I was thinking about this the other day. Max sent me a picture of George Lucas, and she's like, he's fucking hot. It's like him. He's like a camera like this. He's probably in his 20s.
Oh yeah. Young George Lucas.
Yeah. And he's super good looking. And it's when you juxtapose that with post Star Wars George Lucas, who's not fat George Lucas, but he's got his 1983 hair going and the big beard, and he's just all stressed out and tired. I can kind of see how that wore on the marriage
I also felt that way when I watched Get Back, and then I saw like an interview with George Harrison in '87. I'm like, what the fuck? They're all wearing like corporate suits and shit. Ringo's the only one dressing remotely fashionable. Like everyone had that bad MacGyver hair.
The hippies are a fucking failure across the board. Never trust a hippie. It's a phase. That's all it fucking was.
I believe that was the ironic thing being said in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know, that there was this moment where they're all about this, but the reality is a lot of these people were just lying around, you know what I mean? Not bathing and mooching off folks. And, you know, they didn't ultimately do much in a long spurt of things. But then it turns into that, you know, whole other stuff. But yeah. Max, you should watch that documentary. I gotta dig that one up. The one where the interview he did before he did Star Wars. Remember, he was. I sent that to you once, Jason. Yeah. He recorded this before Star Wars, after THX 1. I think it was before American Graffiti, and he was basically ready to quit. And I'm gonna go do like educational films and stuff.
There's Hot Lucas.
Yeah. All right, let's see some art.
All right.
Let's see some art. So this isn't now this is the kind of concept art don't get made no more. Just letting you know.
It doesn't. Yeah.
I sketched stuff for Crash for a while on paper, like my initial ideas, and they were like, "You're gonna clean it up, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's just a sketch, man." So this is a let's see which one. This is Joe Johnston sketched this. Joe Johnston's sketch of the ice caverns on the planet Hoth, dated January 1978, includes his early evocation. Evocation, yeah, I'll
take it.
Of rebel troopers dressed in samurai-like armor. Of course, it just looks like they have giant
really kind of reminds me of where he took the Cloud Car pilot to some extent.
Right.
You know, that was what came to my mind at first, but yeah, pretty interesting though. Huh.
And so this was a discovery. I had
this.
You know what? Before we get into this, let's just go look at some art really quick because that's a long conversation.
You know what? I think we should save that one for tomorrow and make that like a
that's a whole show.
Yeah, it's a whole show.
So this is Ralph McQuarrie. This is when I talk about a piece of illustration that invokes the tone of the movie as well as 100 different ideas. This is what I'm talking about. Right. Something like this. So this was McQuarrie's initial ideas for the not just the Hoth base, but let me explain it. McQuarrie completed this painting of an ice castle December 7th, 1977. Okay. McQuarrie. The ice castle was built. No, the ice castle was built for another society that lived there in the past, like on the fourth moon of Yavin. George's instructions are very short. He doesn't like to tell me exactly what he's seen, maybe because it would have influenced me too much. By the time McQuarrie finished the painting, the castle was no longer part of the story.
Yeah, I feel like the ice castle may have been a Lee Brackett idea too. I don't know if George told Lee Brackett write the ice castle or if Lee Brackett just wrote the ice castle.
Wouldn't have been great if that was Maz's castle.
Yeah,
bullshit like that. Dude.
Yeah, that. Well, I never.
I mean, they're all very phallic, right?
Yeah,
but you know,
I'm about Hoth bases and ice castles. I'm about Yavin castles.
Yeah. Ronnie from
Mundwalker. Yeah,
man,
Ronnie Mundwalker.
Being a Stern fan, it has me branded a racist by the radical left wing of Twitter because I talked on a Howard Stern board.
Until Howard Stern it says fuck all the anti-vaxxers and then it's cool, right? Whatever.
Well, no, they don't like anything. Actually, have you? What do you think about the blackballing of that game? Forgot about that. Just thought about that right now when I thought about that.
Oh, Eclipse? Man, that's fucking Lucasfilm's problem, bro. Like I here's my thing, right? On one hand, a bunch of people are working. On the other hand, they work somewhere not so great, which is 90% of our jobs. I don't fucking like David Cage, but they've decided they're going to work with them, so there you go.
Yeah.
If you want a AAA game, If you want a AAA Super Star Wars game, you're going to find 99% of the time, AAA studios are horrendous places to work. Ubisoft, or Ubisoft, however you want to say it, is making a Star Wars game. Ubisoft has multiple allegations of sexual harassment.
I'd be hard.
Right? Sexual harassment, corruption, crazy crunch time, shitty fucking work environments. The list goes on and on. Matter of fact, Ubisoft is straight up dicks to just streamers or podcasters in general. If you say anything negative about them, they will fucking hound you and DMCA your channel to death. They do all sorts of shit. So my thing is, EA's no better. Activision is, look at the headlines. That, you know, like, I'm trying to figure, like, this is where I say they should have their own internal AAA dev studio for the big stuff, and then outsource to indies or startups. In AAA, indie studios, startups made by AAA studios. Like, there's that game As It True was, he retweeted that I commented on. It was a trailer at the Game Awards called Arc Players or something. Okay. It's this free-to-play met game, but it fucking looks dope. Like, it's super, like, the tech is good. It's ex-AAA dudes who made an indie studio. Yeah. So, like, but if you want a Grand Theft Auto, I don't know if you're aware, the work conditions at Rockstar are not that great. I mean, if you are aware, like none of them are innocent. None of them.
Oh, the working conditions at ILM and things like that haven't always been fair either. I think the big difference and the irony and the comedy of it even is that the head of that company goes out and says, well, and I am curious. I'm still curious about the context of the comments, but he says, "In my games, all women are whores." Was that self-reflective? Was that saying
I don't know, man? Photoshopping your employees to make fun of them is a whole nother level of fucking horrible too.
But you know what? Like, they're not mad about that. They're mad about, in my games, all my women are whores, and I don't make games for fags. Those two quotes are what they're mad about. Yeah, and
Lucasfilm has decided to work with him. So
the first one, I could see that being a sort of reflective, like, you know what, I noticed that I'm doing that. All my games, that's what they are. I got it, you know, and it's like a real realization. I could see that. I'm not saying that's what it is. I can see that. I don't make games for fags. That one. I don't think there's any context where that one works. No. To be honest with you. So here's where I'm laughing though.
Only the quartering could figure that one out.
Yeah. Lucasfilm goes and then aims like these books at people of color and non-binary kids and like gives them this representation and then gets that guy to make the game of that era. Right. That's like, what the fuck are you thinking?
I know.
It's hilarious. It's such a fuck up. It's
such a fuck up. I blame Lucas. This is their, I just go, look, I can't disagree with any of it, but at the same time, there's only two things you can do. Vocalize your what you're doing on Twitter, vocalize. I perfectly acceptable people vocalizing their displeasure with something. Where I have a problem with is when, and this hasn't happened yet, and I'm afraid it will happen, is when they go and harass developers working. How could you, as a person of an artist, work for this? And it's like, fuck, I got rent. Like, do you know what your credit card company's up to right now? Do you know the history of Bank of America and slavery in this country? So fucking don't argue with people who have to pay rent. David Cage, fine, but just leave the other people out of it. You know, those people got to earn a fucking living. And Lucasfilm needs Disney doesn't want a video game studio. They don't want an internal video game studio. And if they did have an internal AAA game studio, I suspect Crunch would be part of that plan. There's no way around AAA dev because people don't want to wait 5 to 6 years for a 100-hour game.
Right.
And the reality is these games have too much content. So how do you think that content gets made? Just hire more people. Well, if hiring more people solved it, you think you're going to get a burger faster at Burger King if they hire 40 people? You think that's how it gets done? Like, that's not how you get more content. Right. Some things just take more time. Cyberpunk 2077 is Studio Project Red is a horrible studio, bro, to work for. I don't know if people are aware what it's like to work at that fucking place. Yeah, and they shipped a broke ass fucking product on top of it and stole people's fucking money. And I don't see them out there. These people, but if they hired those guys to make a High Republic game, then yeah, you have just as many issues too, you know. So it's like, but don't act like. Here's the other thing too, folks. Like, you could say this era was made to support, you know, non-binary people and minorities who haven't been represented in Star Wars. But like, it's a fictional fucking universe. And you know what I mean? Like, they could easily have written a bunch of new characters into the current situation and changed it too. So like, they gave you something new because at the end of the day, they don't want to do the prequel shit because it comes with a load of baggage. They can't keep doing the OT stuff because member berries. So they made up the thing in between. You know, and now you're saying that it doesn't represent you. It's a fictional fucking universe. Sometimes you're going to enjoy it, sometimes you're not. Like that, you got to grow up at some point, you know? And if they make some shit you don't agree with, the only thing they're going to learn is don't spend money on it. Don't be like, well, I got to see how bad it is. Like, no, don't buy it.
Well, no, that's what they're doing. They're creating a hashtag saying that they're going to, I can't remember what
will they, Jason? They do that, and then they go. Have you seen what hashtags and trends equal fucking dollar? How many of us all, when Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen came out and had clearly a racist Transformer with two of them with gold teeth, it was horrible, bro. Like I was like, they blamed the writer strike. Michael Bay didn't go, my bad. That'll never happen again. They were like, well, we know the writer strike. We had to ad lib. And I mean, what does the writer strike have to do with that? But then people still went and saw it, and they went back the third time, and the fourth time, and the fifth time, and the sixth time. Like, same director. That's what I'm saying. Like, that doesn't work. When I don't like something, bro, I didn't see the Clone Wars movie, right? I didn't go theatrically to see it. You know why? I was fucking through with Lucas's fucking shit. I'm like, stop peddling me. This is the greatest thing ever when you're not putting the greatest thing ever into it. It wasn't up to like Ratatouille standards. So I'm not going to go see this. I'll wait. You know, you cannot agree with it, but that's the only way they learn.
Well, let me ask you this. Is the audience who is buying and reading and consuming the High Republic era and also seeing themselves in it, do they play video games?
No, here's what I don't get. Here's the thing I don't get, okay? They read these comics. They're called the High Republic comics, right? And the majority of them are made at Marvel, right?
Hold on, no. Most of it's not. The comics aren't selling that well. Most of it's the novels.
Okay.
Yeah.
But are they buying Marvel comics? Because I don't do they know who Ike Perlmutter is? Like, are they aware of Ike Perlmutter?
I'm not.
Okay, well, you know, you may want to do a little research on Ike Perlmutter, his relationships to Israel, you know what I mean? His relationships to Trump, you know, like you may want to like find out, you know, who Ike Perlmutter is before people start like just singling out one thing. Do it. Single it out. Show them your displeasure. But then, you know, like this is again, I got to blame Lucasfilm for going, you know, you had to know this. Do you want this headache every fucking time you go up to bat? Or do they just need licensing because they're like, we're not spending the money to develop our own game. There's only so many developers. These people are hungry. They want to do it. They have a track record. And we just want to get fucking product out there and get done with it. We don't want to hear about it, you know? And that's probably the reality. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm trying to like understand in the whole thing is like the David Cage aspect of it. Like, did they, you know, like on the very first night, I think you're the one who showed it to me. He tweeted out, "So happy to finally reveal a Star Wars Eclipse, a mix of action, branching narrative, and multiple playable characters in the most ambitious game ever imagined by Quantic Dream. Having the chance to contribute to this amazing franchise is a dream come true. Lots more to come." But when you look at like one of the dudes in West Side Story, I guess was like trying to pick up underage girls or something like that.
Yeah, and Baby Driver.
Yeah, and he's not really involved in the promoting of that film. And so I thought they may have him lay low, like, you know what, we're gonna go with the thing, but you're gonna have to lay low and not be in the forefront of this one. Very first night.
No, Joel, that's someone else. Sorry.
The very first night he goes and you know, tweets that out and puts himself in the middle of it. And so the game being like 4 years away or whatever, were they just thinking that, like, in 4 years it'll be a different world, like it will have died out by then, and that
Gee, if only they would do an interview and release a whole thing explaining why they chose this developer and get ahead of all this. Perhaps, like, it's their fucking jobs. Like,
I find it fascinating. When it comes down to
if James Cameron hired Ben Shapiro to direct Avatar 2, I wouldn't go fucking see it. You understand what I'm saying?
For sure.
Like, I get it. But then if, like, I can't blame anyone for going, I don't like the fucking people associated with this product. I get it. So, like, the studio doesn't care what you think because they had to have known. So the whole thing you're, like, hinging on to be the thing that represents you is still, it's just a fictional bullshit property. You know what I mean? Like it only means what the people who are making it at the time put into it and what you take away from it and read into it. And even then it's like, it's a cluster. It's like, it is what it is. I mean, it's frustrating because this is not a studio that's going to answer anything. You're going to get more. If I had to put money, I got to put money down, right? Sorry. Let's put some credits down. Let's keep it themed here on the Starship, right? So if we want to put some credits down on the David Cage is going to continue to open his fucking mouth and say stupid shit and until they cancel it 100 million in, or he says I'm stepping away, and then they'll get another person to be like, this person's running it, but then behind the scenes he's still writing shit at home,
still doing it. I'm like I said, it just as a choice.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, yeah, just it blows my mind as a choice for what the publishing was doing. It's like a lack of not seeing the big picture.
We just want to be excited about shit. Every time we go to bat, it's got to be something with this company. You know what I mean? Like, I just want them to announce the fucking game, and I want to get excited about something as a fan, right? Like, the world's a fucking dark and dangerous place right now. It'd be nice to get excited, and not every time I look at a trailer, like, imagine the Fantastic Beasts fans are like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? Every fucking day.
Oh, no. J.K. Rowling, she won't shut the fuck up, so it's
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I follow you now. Yeah. Yeah, it makes me... It just is that studio really big? Like, are we talking like
Quantic Dream? They make one thing, David Cage games, and they take 3 to 5 years to do it.
Are there hundreds of people on the staff there? Like thousands?
Probably about 70, 50 when they're full production. When they're low, if I had to put money down, it's a skeleton crew. Okay. Like it's the coder, it's tech and him, and then they ramp up. So I imagine at max you're looking at 50 to 70 people, and then it's a small. That's why I told you, like, with Star Wars, because of the licensing cut, all right, and there always is a cut, my friend. You have to, like, find a studio that has the talent to give you a AAA look, because that's how they don't want indie fucking look. They want triple. It's Star Wars, right? They have to be hungry, like they have to be a studio that has a talent but hasn't had that breakthrough hit, and they want to utilize this win to give them the next win. So whatever they do here, okay, like Knights of the Old Republic, BioWare. BioWare was big. No, they weren't on the map of the average gamer until Knights of the Old Republic. That put BioWare into the mind of the average gamer, not just the RPG gamer. But then when they go do the second one, you get yourself another studio, because BioWare's a little bit busy now making real shit. You go get yourself the Fallout dudes, or was it the guys that got picked up by Microsoft? Those ones. I forget their name. Obsidian. You get Obsidian to go do it. So that's the problem. Now, Remedy is doing Jedi Fallen Order 2, but then I have to wonder, what's their focus, because they got that Apex Legends thing. See, this is the problem when you have a big win now by an independent studio. They want to then go make real money because they don't want to be losing all that licensing money. They need the cash flow to keep. It's expensive to make games and keep everything running, folks. It is more expensive than films. Okay, by a long shot. So that's where and why they signed with EA in a major studio when they started, because they don't want the headache. Just hand it to the studio, and the studio already has all this shit figured out, the internals, the ramp up, the ramp down, the stuff Lucas just complained about. They already got that figured out for gaming. Here's the problem. EA's like, yeah, but we want the big money. We want to milk this motherfucker for
Right.
So the only solution is Lucas's original solution, is have your own game studio that's focused on making creative endeavors, and you put the Lucasfilm quality into each game release. That is really the only solution, and Disney will not do that.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, and when Lucasfilm tried it, I mean, we really do. We have a handful of games that we love, but like I always say, most of them were shit.
Right.
Most of them weren't any good. I mean, that's just the reality of that side of it too. So
that's why I told you I feel their space should be, sign up with, I guess a Ubisoft or whatever, but they should be fostering the creation of independent studios with AAA devs, with the caveat that you need to also start operating your business under best use practices. But Lucasfilm and Disney is a corporation. Lucasfilm is a corporation. They have an HR department that protects Lucasfilm. If you think no one at Lucasfilm has ever not been sexually harassed, or there wasn't an F word or N word thrown around at that company, I got to tell you, here's some stories, James, I can't tell you, but I used to go up in the early 2000s to sketch jams up in LA. Right, at certain houses of artists, we were on this board, and this art board, and you could go to their house and hang out, and that's where you would network. And I thought that's how I would break in, and I would be there with actual Lucasfilm artists in 2002, 2000, working on the prequels. People of color not happy with that studio, people who have since transitioned into different
careers.
Whatever.
Yeah, or
they've transitioned into different, whatever. I don't know the proper terminology.
Male to female JO partners.
They transition, yeah, and they were unhappy there then, So like nowhere is perfect. The question is, they do have a leader though, who has been convicted, rightfully so, against you. So why does he have to be part of the problem? Here's why he has to be part of this that group, because it's his company. It's not Quantic Dream is David Cage.
So
like he writes all the scripts.
And his name sounds like he's from Cobra Kai, for the record. Like it definitely sounds like he's fought Ralph Macchio in the 80s at one point, maybe even won. But
it was David Coppola, but he changed it because he read some comics, right?
Yeah. So no. So like I don't know, man.
Waste of time.
I'm curious as to how
Lucasfilm signs up with the Daily Wire to do a documentary on Star Wars. Like, great, here we go.
Yeah, it's really the game is the secret history of the Cara Dune clan.
Yeah. So what was the point of the Cara Dune nonsense if you're going to go right to David Cage? Is the question.
That is super weird to fire her. And to hire him.
It's a man's world, bro. Like I say that angrily.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? That just proves to me, even with a female, CEO or a female driven initiative at Lucasfilm, it's still a man's world.
Yeah.
I don't
like I don't pretend to have an answer to any of this stuff. To me, it's just more like what situation were they in where this was the best answer?
Telltale's gone. There's just not a lot of options for him. I wish, I don't know. I told you, man, if they had just made that Pixel Super Star Wars Mandalorian stuff. I want to know, look, why is it taking so long to make a Lego game? But,
that's
my guess is licensing.
Yeah.
So these are Joe Johnson sketches, I believe, of the Hoth speeders, different ideas for snow speeders and stuff. So,
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's interesting. God, there's just podcasts I need to find, by the way, because James says Walt Disney was an anti-Semite too. Maybe the mouse doesn't care. Yeah, there's a really good podcast. I need to find it because I cite it a lot. I don't remember who did it. I listened to it years ago now, but they break down like all of the stuff on Walt, where he was horrible and where he wasn't, and the stuff he did with unions, how horrible he was with unions, and all of that kind of jazz. And it's a super fascinating podcast. I'll look it up.
Well, he took personal offense. It's actually, I have that Walt Disney book. It's It's really good, the audiobook. And they get heavily into that with Bioworks and the other guy, the Disney artist who had to be rehired, who led the union strike. And that's what disenfranchised Walt. He was disinterested in the animated films, and that's what created Disneyland was created because Walt hated union. He was mad at losing the union battle. So like, if it's like when we complain that Disneyland doesn't pay people fair wages, I'm like, well, the whole park was based on this. like the very inception of the park happens because of Walt not wanting to pay someone a fair wage.
Yeah, no, it does. It does. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if I can find it right now. It would. Okay, I have some.
We here at Lucasfilm are committed to global climate change. That's why by the year 3050, we're going to be completely carbon neutral. Wow, can't wait to 3050. George can't even commit to zero net emissions at the Mongolian barbecue. Like, what do you think they're going to do?
Yeah, I was trying to see if I could get that podcast up, and it's not coming up in deadline. It's going to make a bunch of like deadline things, and not the pod. I asked for the podcast. It's giving me was Clever Name Podcast. Is that it? I can't remember now. Anyways, I'll look it up later. But yeah, you know, it's definitely it definitely is very fair to him. And at the end, I did walk away with the opinion that Walt Disney was an anti-Semite, but definitely of the flavor of his day. Not that justifies it, but it's also not necessarily. It's horrible, but it's also not fair to judge people of the past by the standards of today. It's called presentism, and I think you need to look at it and then go, okay, the past is shit. The country not so great in the past. How do we make it better? But also not necessarily, give them like, if you're a slaveholder, you're a piece of shit. Not that doesn't change anything like that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, chances are most of your grandparents were anti-Semites too. Because most of the country.
My grandpa, who died less than 10 years ago, still referred to the Japanese community as Japs, bro. Like, because he fought a even as a kid, I was like, they're not the same people they were in the 40s, Grandpa.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like,
I don't justify it. I don't agree with it. I get it, though. I get where they're coming from. It's a matter of propaganda that they were subjected to.
But David Cage, whatever, man. It's fucking. I just hate this. All of this is unnecessary. We should be talking about the content, but we can't now
about
because
the man instead. Yeah. And I'm like, has he ever said he was sorry? Was he drunk? Was there? You know what I mean? Though, and
no, he went and sued the people reporting for libel and lost.
Did he sue them over that, or did he sue them over the company?
The reporting, it. Yeah,
because I heard that it was when I looked it up, it looked like it was about the company stuff.
That was all part of it, though. Like all the stuff. Yeah, that was all part of it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks for bringing it down.
No, I know it's fascinating. It's complicated. I don't obviously I don't agree with like
I want the people being paid millions of dollars. This is where I want Kathleen Kennedy. I want these people to come out and fucking explain it. That's what they're getting paid to do.
Yeah.
You're now the face of the company. You get paid the big bucks. You come out here and fucking answer to these people. They deserve a legitimate, real answer from you. Not hiding behind fucking we'll just wait and hope Twitter burns out fucking thing, Because every time there's a new trailer, it's not going to burn out. It's just going to come back stronger and stronger. So.
Yeah, that's what sucks is it used to pretty much be if you don't acknowledge something, it'll go away. But in truth, modern Twitter lynch mob mentality is that if you don't acknowledge something, it's an admission of guilt. It's fucked. I mean, you're just damned if you do, damned if you don't in a lot of ways. And I'm sure that they're well aware of that and much smarter than me on this stuff. But yeah, I'm curious if he's talked about it. Has, you know what I mean? I mean, like you would think he would talk about it. You'd think did he clarify? Did he say, you know what, that was a stupid thing to say? I don't know why I said it. Or did you know
only people he's mentioned can comment on the video is because you don't want to talk about him.
Yeah, it's so weird. Yeah, it's such a weird fucking choice. But anyways, back to 1978.
Speaking of inflation, so early concept art, not for Jedi, for Empire.
Yeah.
This is where there were ideas of the Wookiee planet first started here, and you could see Kashyyyk.
Well,
Kashyyyk.
Kashyyyk.
Well, the holiday special, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you see that video of that one dude who was like restoring it? I retweeted it yesterday.
No,
this dude's like was like restoring. It looks fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did a retweet on it. God.
Well, let's look at that tomorrow.
We'll look at it right now.
Thursday, whenever. Yeah.
Let's look at it.
We're jumping around too much, but tomorrow or Thursday, whatever. If we don't do the show tomorrow, because you don't know if we're doing the show tomorrow.
Yeah, we're doing the show tomorrow.
We can make it a video day because we got that and we got the animated video too.
Yeah, right? I wanted to look at that animated thing too. Yeah, we need a document of shit to get to. we should make like a Google Doc or something where we could just put in shit to get to, and then that way we don't forget on days where. Because like sometimes we have like
let's pretend like Pemberton's sending you $5 every month for the show and do some effort here. Right?
Oh my girls here. Ooh,
I blocked them.
She heard me talking about how those Russian girls aren't that ugly. That yet they do have dishwashers now. And boy did she come to say hello. She said, "What fly?" Okay.
What fly, David Cage?
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah,
Boris.
So this is obviously Vader Castle sketches. Obviously play out the ice castle too. Like they kind of but you can see like working in little Death Star shapes, right?
Yeah, it almost reminds me of in the end if Vader's castle and a Trade Federation droid control ship made love, had a baby.
And now we get to Tauntauns, like the original Chocobo, bro.
Somebody was playing Joust and was like, "I have an idea."
This is before Joust, right?
Is it before Joust?
This is the 70s, man.
Well, Joust was the 70s, wasn't it?
Before Chocobos or Joust.
Let me see. I'm not.
No, Joust was 82. 82? 81, 82, 83, around there.
Joust game release date.
The only fucking thing in 1978 was Pong.
Well, it actually has a release date, July 16th of 1982.
1982, yeah. No, I fairly know my gaming. I mean, the games in the 70s are the ones you see in Jaws, man. The Sega light up. This arcade. We had this arcade called Grinkers here in Meridian, and the COVID killed it. But they had dude, it would be the one before COVID. I would have been like, come up here with your kids for at least one weekend, because this place had the antique, all those arcade cabinets from Jaws. They're there. Like they had all those crazy like ghost affecting, like Pepper's Ghost kind of like games, the original 70s pinballs.
Strangely, my 80s arcade experience is defined by the Cobra Kai, the Karate Kid golf and stuff. I live literally 10 minutes.
They had all those too. They had all the 70 ones. Yeah.
Yeah. There used to be this game that was like a light gun game that was kind of like skeet shooting.
Yeah, skeet shooting.
Yeah.
It was a rear projection or little setup. Yeah. They had it at Chuck E. Cheese as well. But yeah.
So one of my earliest memories is standing in there and my dad's playing Tron. And I'm watching my dad go through all the modes in Tron, and I'm just like, whoa. Good stuff. But yeah.
So regarding this sketch, an early Tauntaun sketch by Joe Johnston that evolved out of Lucas's story conference. George Lucas, Ray Harryhausen opening in Mysterious Isle in 1961, where he has a giant chicken. So I guess Harryhausen created this. Closest thing to kind of opening we've always wanted to see on film.
Right. So
Ralph McQuarrie adapted the idea, also based on Lucas's story conference. George Lucas, great image in Flash Gordon of snowbirds. Always wanted the fantasy thing of knights riding around on giant lizards. Always wanted that. Might be worth it this time to start out that way with a giant lizard bird image in Wizards, 2-legged thing. Have one of those riding across the snow in a storm. Have searched the area.
I'm curious if Tara Whitlatch took this for the Kadu in Phantom Menace, and if it was it's a coincidence that it has such a Kadu form, or if there's something to that.
Also, too, not for nothing, but there's something about Joe Johnston's bubbly structure to his art always appealed to me. Like, even as a kid, I could tell the difference between a Joe Johnston sketch and a McQuarrie. There's something, something bubbly about it that I always like. Good shapes.
Yeah, agreed. I actually really, by the way, like Tara Whitlatch's work a lot too.
Look at that night.
What the fuck?
This is a Hasbro Pulse toy, my friend.
That's erotic. I'm just going to put it out there. That's
Johnny. This is the Photo Archives book. There's 2 of them. One for the original trilogy, one for the prequel trilogy.
That is definitely.
McQuarrie's like, you wanted a lizard.
Wait,
you see the lizard?
Zoom in on his face. Zoom in on his face.
It's the Cobra logo.
No, the man writing it. Skywalker popping a bone.
Well, look.
Like, oh my god, I came in my pants writing on this lizard. So that's why he never got married. He's had a lizard fetish.
He's like, you know who we need to make this? Hanson. Hanson knows how to get them looks out of the puppets.
There he is.
So here's some other. I'm going to read the quote over here, but you can see some of the.
Yeah.
There's nothing more 70s than this, my friend.
Yeah, I really hate the cutscene Wampas. Like I like watching it because it's fascinating that what they tried, like as a historical document. But boy, did they look shitty when they were trying to do those Wampas. And in a weird way, seeing less of it was more. But I would love to see the Wampas like that they envisioned, kind of like what they were hoping for, brought to life in a good way on screen someday, like a Mando or something.
I think I have a photo on set. Yeah. Because I got the Kurtz. There's Kurtz directing, which I figure was a point of contention. But
probably just second unit bullshit. It says he's directing, or are we assuming?
Yeah, it says he's directing.
Cool.
Luke hangs upside down, a captive in the Wamp Cave. Producer Gary Kurtz is directing the second unit, and Dennis Webb hovers in the background.
Okay. Yeah. And a lot of that stuff probably got that he shot got replaced. I love the genius of the special edition idea for it, though. Make the cave small so the Wampus big. It's just so smart.
Right.
It's so simple and smart, And I think it looks great, honestly.
Yeah. But you can see the different Tauntaun heads.
Yeah. More like dragons back then. That's pretty cool.
Who is this guy?
It looks like a little Kurosawa dude, like Hidden Fortress dude or something. Pretty rad.
It's funny, yeah. These would make great ornaments, don't you think?
Yeah. The head on that one on the right kind of looks like the special edition dragon, holiday special dragon a little bit.
Oh yeah.
It has a little bit of that vibe to it. I wonder if that's connected in any way at all.
I like this version of the Tauntaun. It's very Muppety.
That is cool. Yeah. I wouldn't even be mad if it talked. Like, I'm kind of carrying you on my back.
Can your feet go into my back? It'd be better if the feet could go into my back.
I'm just glad I don't have the guy who comes on the lizard on my back.
Joe's like, wappa, wappa, wappa. When I sent you that image, Luke Skywalker, like that was going around.
Yeah.
This looks kind of like the dude who played fucking Davy Jones.
It reminds me a little bit of the Rock dude in Labyrinth.
Oh, yeah.
There's a little bit of that vibe to him.
So, Phil Tippett sculpted a 30 centimeter, 12-inch high mock-up Tauntaun.
If you want it done right, you need just the tip. That's what I always say.
I sent it to the art department in England. There they constructed the full-size 8-foot fall. Okay, life-size tauntaun did not move, but the actress could sit on it. A puppet head and neck were made for scenes where it needed to be animated. So, yeah, so this is, you can see it's bolted down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I had a lot of photos leaked to me from Mando, and you know that one droid from the end, where IG 11 dies. You know, when they're in that like tunnel, there's like that droid on the boat, like the R2D2 with legs, bolted to pretty much the same kind of stand. Ironically, pretty much like the same exact thing, but look at like just the amount of like work that went into that thing. Like
James is there. That's James in the set hanging out with the tauntaun. He won't tell us the stories.
But he didn't tell us. Yeah,
he won't tell us the stories.
Won't tell us. But can't talk about it. I mean, look at the fucking work that's into that tauntaun. Like you just wouldn't.
Oh, tell me about it. Tell me about it. I wanted Natalie to wear something very similar to this in Attack of the Clones, but they said it's too much.
Dude, honestly, I'd
look at the pistons on that thing.
I'd fucking put Natalie Portman in that thing. I'd get on her like the fucking dude in that drawing, and I'd be like, oh, that's how I'd be too.
The code name for Attack of the Clones was Black Tauntaun, but
Black Taun 1.
Yeah, Black Taun 1.
I don't know what that means, but
hold on, ready for the quote?
Yeah.
When you're on set, ... Sorry. While everything's falling apart around you, the robot won't move or some technical thing malfunctions, then you're compromising day by day and dying 1,000 deaths. Little melodramatic, buddy. You think Lucas's dad ever saw us as like, fucking George, man?
I get it though.
We're a rich kid in Modesto. You had it so hard, you know.
We've all been there when you think you got 2 days of studio time and you got 4 hours and you're just like, oh shit.
This is great. He goes, on this picture, I haven't seen all the suffering. I've just looked at the film and said, oh, that turned out great. Or that scene could have been a little better. And I wasn't there watching Kirsch suffer, struggling to get it better.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I didn't bring him back.
No, he wanted him back. Kirsch was like, nah, I'm good.
Not what Kirsch said on the fucking DVD or whatever.
Kirsch said, they asked me to come back. I said no, but after I saw the third one, I realized I should have.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Then I blame Kirsch.
I
stand corrected.
Kind of did a slide on Marquand there.
Yeah, bad move, Kirsch.
So. Rightfully so. I mean,
rightfully so. The lighting alone is dog shit in Jedi. It's worse. It's lit worse than Star Wars.
The one thing that Richard Marquand did better was the costumes. The costumes in Return of the Jedi. He thought the costumes in Empire were ugly and tacky. And I agree with him that
there were some interesting decisions being made. Do I have it here? No, I got to dig it up. I was reading this after I took the photos.
Yeah,
but they actually have photos, and I got to get this. There was going to be an animated lava man in Jabba's palace.
No,
2D animated lava, and they actually rigged a guy up with light bulbs.
I actually told you about him a few weeks ago.
You did?
Lightman is what he's nicknamed. Yeah, okay. Lightman. Yeah, they had a guy, and it just didn't work out. And we were talking about the entryway to Jabba's palace. Yeah, Lightman's fun.
They have a photo in there of him though.
I wouldn't. I like Richard. What's his name? Is it Richard Mollo? I like. As a kid, I should have been a fashion designer. I really loved drawing Star Wars costumes. That was like a big thing that I did when I drew. I mostly drew costumes. Leia poncho, was pretty into it. I wouldn't mind doing a whole thing on Star Wars costumes and Lightman, because the history of Lightman is fascinating. But I just got a message right now that I have deliveries on my porch, and we have a thing here called Porch Pirates.
Oh, well, it's also 2 o'clock. It's time, or 1
Main
o'clock.
Street, so. Yeah. So we started a little bit late, but we went about 8 minutes later. So I think we're going to end the show here because I got to get that shit before somebody steals it.
Yep, go get it.
But thanks to everybody who hung out with us today, and we'll be back tomorrow about 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, hopefully on time tomorrow, and we'll go over the news of the day, and we'll dig deep into the making of Star Wars. If not, because that's what
the cup is empty.
Yeah, and if I just feel like I'll talk about UFOs because I do what I want. You're not the boss of me. Fuck you.
It's not about spaceships. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show.
It's not about spaceships.
If you can see this, fuck you. If you can see this. If you can see this, fuck you. All right? I like being the only Star Wars show probably to tell its audience, fuck you.